All right, we got a different video. We got all the shocking allegations of Puff Diddy. But make sure you guys like, subscribe, and yeah, let's just straight into this video. Like, I be hearing about Diddy, but like I don't know the full allegations. Like I need to hear all this. Like I know he got trafficking charges, all that stuff, sexual charges. But let's see this video.
Bars and indicted on federal sex trafficking and racketeering allegations. But those aren't the only accusations Diddy's facing. In fact, there are dozens of allegations dating as far back as
I think he's cooked. Like he's gonna be with R. Kelly and are they in the same jail or are they in different jails? My nigga, he's definitely cooked. For real.
90s. We're breaking down all 47 shocking allegations against P. Diddy and what all this could mean for the future of his case. I'm Sierra Gillespie, and this is Law and Crime News. Sean Diddy Combs has now been behind bars for 1 week after he was indicted by a federal grand jury on some pretty serious.
Not to cap, like even before the allegations, like I don't think niggas really were even liking Diddy like that. Like, you feel me? I wasn't even listening to Diddy like that. Yeah, he got a few songs that were hits, but like I'm saying, like niggas were even making allegations like he killed Tupac and all that stuff. Like he's already doing some shady shit anyway. Like
charges.
Like, even Tupac said the nigga did some weird stuff.
And with this major development in the case comes a
but be honest, y'all niggas fucked with P. Diddy before the allegations. Like what y'all niggas?
Interest in the many allegations against the now disgraced rapper. So
allegations, like it's fact. Like that nigga's cooked.
Let's start with the federal indictment. That lists nearly 20 allegations against Diddy in support of the charges he faces: racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. From the jump on page 1, prosecutors come out swinging, alleging Diddy is guilty of sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. The indictment goes on to allege Diddy showed a pattern of abuse, mostly against women, that included verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual abuse, including the use of extensive grooming tactics. So let's break these down a bit. Of the physical abuse, Diddy is accused of throwing, punching, kicking, and dragging some of his victims.
Yeah, we already know, but like it wasn't that Casey, like Cassie, like it wasn't
that this spring when CNN released the
that video was crazy, dog. Like
showing Diddy brutally assault his then girlfriend Cassie in a hotel hallway. That incident isn't blatantly referenced in the federal indictment, and neither are any names. So we'll
keep him in jail, not a cat.
On that when we take a look at the civil suits against Diddy. But the indictment does allege that Diddy hid his victims for days at a time to recover from the injuries he inflicted without being publicly observed. Federal prosecutors allege Diddy intimidated these victims into his orbit and then forced them to participate in something he called freak-offs. These freak-offs were—
That's what I'm saying. Like, I be hearing about the freak. Let's see what it is. Like, you feel me? Like, I be hearing that multiple people are in the room. Like, there's celebrities there. Like, LeBron James there. Kobe Bryant is there. Like, Kim K is there. Like, so many people are there. You feel me? Like, would I go to a Diddy party? Maybe, but like, you feel me? Like, I don't know. Like, you feel me?
Elaborate and
I think it would be a lit experience. No cap. Like, you feel me? It would be a lit experience. You feel me?
Produced sex.
But it'll be weird. But you feel me? Like, it's crazy though.
That Combs arranged, directed.
Y'all niggas going to a freak off by Diddy Combs.
Masturbated during, and often electronically recorded. So during these sessions, Diddy would force victims to use drugs, have sex with prostitutes, and be recorded doing all this, sometimes without their knowledge. Diddy also alleged—
Yo, what the fuck? Like, niggas drugging niggas to have sex. Like, what?
Carry illegal firearms.
I'm not surprised though. Like,
often through coercion and the assistance of his associates working for the Combs enterprise. Not only would these associates help suppress the victims, but they also arranged the freak-offs.
I'm sorry, but like, how do you defend this nigga? Like, if you're a homeboy of this nigga, like, you gotta go. Like, you feel me? Like, respectfully, like, you can't defend behavior like this. Is disgusting. Like, what this nigga did, like, for all trusted, it's like this nigga is a weirdo. Like, real talk. Like, he should stay in jail for a long period of time. Like, you feel me? Nigga should take his butt. Like, how this nigga is looking at this nigga right here. Like, he's looking at how cute this nigga is. Like, you feel me?
By booking hotels.
Respectfully, he should stay in jail. All troll shit of shy.
hotel rooms and stocking the rooms with required freak-off necessities
Weird
like
ass
baby
nigga.
oil or personal lubricant. These associates would also
That's what the baby oil was used for. You feel me? Like I was wondering why the nigga had multiple bottles. You feel me? Like
procure sex workers and IVs that were given to both Combs and the victims after these freak-off sessions to help them recover from the physical exertion and drug use. As part of all this, Diddy and his associates transported and caused to be transported commercial sex workers across state lines and internationally. Okay, I know you're multitasking when you're watching our
we've been to
videos.
this nigga was a
And
freak,
if
but
you're
this
out
nigga's
running
a
errands,
psychotic
listen up.
freak,
I
like my nigga. Like
have to tell you about the free app Upside that gets you
Shorty, like come on, like I'm not downloading this app, right, my nigga?
also
Hold
to
on.
find LC News to get an extra 25 cents back on every gallon on your first tank of gas. Diddy is also accused of transporting survivor Jane Doe across state lines when he
Yo, Florida, 130 tornado. Yeah, GG dog. Y'all niggas are cooked. 130 tornadoes across Florida is kind of crazy.
flew her from Michigan to New York in 2003. Jane Doe filed civil suit against Diddy in fall 2023.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Florida ain't it, my nigga. Like, Miami's the only good place. Like, you feel me? Every other Miami is chilling, like, my nigga.
Alleging that 20 years prior, he raped her when she was only 17.
This nigga's a bro. Like, I'm not surprised. Like, a lot of the things I hear, I'm not surprised. I already heard it from the Diddy document. But like, this is.
According to Jane
She
Doe's
is so.
suit, she met with
Like, I don't get how you can't date on your age. Like, I don't get these niggas at all. Like, R. Kelly, y'all niggas can't date on your age.
Diddy's associates in Michigan and was flown on Diddy's private jet to his studio in New York.
Very
Jane Doe
despicable.
also
Like,
provided
how weird these
pictures
niggas
of her
are.
with Diddy in the studio, bolstering her accusations. Once there, Diddy allegedly drugged Jane Doe and forced her to drink alcohol. After that, he allegedly raped her before sending her back to the Midwest. It's a similar story from Liza Gardner, who also filed civil suit last fall. She alleges Diddy also raped her in New York, but way back in 1990. Gardner's lawsuit alleges she and a friend met Diddy at a party, and then at an after party, he gave her alcohol. He then allegedly raped her before another man also raped her. During all this, both men allegedly
Y'all
also
kinks with
raped
raping people,
Gardner's.
bro. Like, I'm not getting, bro. Like, what's the kink like? I mean, I don't get the benefit of rape. Yo, why am I saying this on YouTube? I said R word. I said the other word. You feel me? Like, not the other R word. You feel me? Like, I said R. You feel me? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
Friend. A couple days later, Combs came to the home where Liza Gardner and her friend were staying. He was irate and began assaulting and choking Liza Gardner to the point that she passed out. That brings us to the next allegation that has stark similarities to
so we got sexual assault, battery. Like, where's the money laundering? Like, you feel me?
Liza Gardner's. Joy Dickerson Neal alleges Diddy raped her in 1991, also in New York. Echoing what prosecutors would write in a federal indictment against Diddy, Dickerson Neal alleges Diddy recorded this sexual assault. Her lawsuit also argues that she's the victim of revenge porn, as Diddy showed this recording to multiple people without her consent. All three of these civil lawsuits were filed last
That's
November.
what I'm saying. You gotta be careful who you sleep with, my nigga. Like, real talk. Like, they could just use that tape against y'all. Yeah, for real. Like,
Under the New
so
York
saying, be
Survivors
careful what energy you spend with people. Like, real talk.
Act. And so too was a bombshell
It'll be weird as fuck.
civil suit filed by Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, who's also known as the singer Cassie. It was with Cassie's lawsuit that we first heard in-depth accusations about Diddy's alleged illegal activity. To start, there's the gun allegation that on at least 2 occasions, Diddy demanded Cassie hold his gun in her purse. The lawsuit goes on to state, quote, "There was no clear reason why Mr. Combs required her to hold his guns, except to reinforce to his young girlfriend that he was violent, powerful, and dangerous." Beyond the gun allegations, Cassie put forth some other major accusations in her 35-page lawsuit. She says Diddy beat her, sometimes so severely that she had to hide out in hotels for days.
Like, I don't get niggas, like, for real. Like, why do you gotta put your hands on a beautiful woman like that? Like, you feel me? Like, what do you gain, my nigga? Like, what Like, you feel me? Like, touching, bro. Like, we know niggas got superior strength, but like, you feel me? Like, you don't gotta do all that shit. Like, you're not tough at all doing all that shit, my nigga. Like, it gets to a point, but like, you feel me? If I'm in that situation, I'm not doing that to him, respectfully. Like, you feel me? But like, if the girl was doing something to my kids, maybe like, you feel me? Like, that's only an exception though. Like, you feel me? Like, I'm not doing that to a woman, respectfully. Like, it's just, it gets to a point where, what are we doing here? Like, this is literally crazy. Like, how, like, niggas are psychotic. Like, that you gotta hit a woman. Like, I just don't get that logic, man. Like, it just gets to a point where that shit don't add up to me.
To heal. Cassie also alleged Diddy and forced her to have sex with prostitutes and even recorded this. Then there's the allegation that Diddy got jealous when Cassie began flirting with rapper Kid Cudi in 2011. Cassie says that in 2012, Diddy told her that he was going to blow up Kid Cudi's car and that he wanted to ensure
Nigga got insecure.
that Kid Cudi was home with his friends when it happened.
Like, isn't it insecure to care about your girl? But like, that much though, like, that, it gets to a point though, like, if a girl's 10, you feel me? Like, but everybody got beef with Kid Cudi, like, real time. Nobody fucks with Kid Cudi. Like.
Around that time, Kid Cudi's car exploded in his driveway. The allegations brought forth in Cassie's lawsuit were shocking, and so too were the accusations brought months later in yet another civil suit.
Well, you shouldn't be mad. Like, if a girl fucks with you, you shouldn't be mad if she goes to date someone else. You should be pissed, but like, I'm saying, if a girl's loyal, my nigga, like, she shouldn't. Like, you shouldn't feel insecure, dog. That's what I'm trying to say.
Filed by Rodney Jones, also known as the producer Lil Rod. He began working with Diddy in 2022 on the Love album, and soon, he alleges, the abuse began. Lil Rod accuses Diddy of sexual assault, writing he was, quote, the victim of constant, unsolicited, and unauthorized groping and touching of his anus by Mr. Combs. He also alleges Diddy and his team were grooming Lil Rod to engage in gay sex. Lil Rod further
I'm not surprised. Like, for me, like, Diddy loves getting his butt touched.
That Diddy forced him to have sex with prostitutes and even drugged Lil Rod to get him to comply. On top of these sexual assault allegations, Lil Rod's lawsuit also alleges that Diddy ran a gun and drug trafficking scheme. He says there are hundreds of hours of footage and audio recordings of Mr. Combs, his staff, and his guests engaging in some serious illegal...
Yeah, you're cooked, Diddy. Like, this video and audio, you cooked, dog. Like, you can't come back from that.
...activity, because Diddy apparently...
Diddy's basically the modern El Chapo, if you think about it.
He forced Lil Rod
to
constantly record him. The allegations continue, saying that Diddy covered up multiple shootings. To start,
High Top's crazy.
There's the New York nightclub shooting in 1999. Lil Rod alleges Diddy required his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez to transport his illegal firearm into the NYC nightclub. The court docs also allege Diddy forced his then-artist Shine to assume responsibility for the shooting of several individuals. Lil Rod's civil suit points to another alleged cover-up too, this time for a shooting outside Diddy's Chalice Studios on September 12, 2022. According to court docs, Diddy, his son Justin, and Justin's friend referred to as G were all there when things got heated. Lil Rod heard multiple gunshots ring out, and then he found G on the bathroom floor in the fetal position. Lil Rod says he was bleeding out of his hip and leg area. After that, Mr. Combs gave strict instructions to inform the police that he had nothing to do with the shooting. He also...
Damn, like, the nigga, Diddy's really a mafia boss. Like, I'm not laughing. This is so fucked up.
To lie to the police by telling them that G was shot standing outside the studio by a drive-by assailant. So that specific allegation involves Diddy's son Justin, but another allegation...
Nah, you gotta get getting bullied in school. Like, imagine it. Yeah. If your dad's Diddy, like, oh, that son's getting bullied. You're getting bullied, my nigga. Like, there's no coming back from that if your dad's Diddy. Like that word.
Entirely separate civil
Can't imagine that.
Involves his other son, Christian, or King Combs. Grace Omar alleges
like
that Christian Combs sexually assaulted her on a yacht in December 2022. And
bro, what is this nigga? Bro, this nigga teaching these youngins how to be sexual assaulters. Like, you feel me? Like, what's going on? Like,
All this was facilitated
this is the P Diddy teachings. It's the Puff Diddy, the school. Like,
by Diddy. That suit was filed in April, and in May, former model Crystal McKinney filed suit against Diddy too, alleging he drugged and sexually assaulted her in his New York studio back in 2003. Diddy's former bad boy artists have spoken out too, including members of Danity Kane, the girl group that Diddy helped form on MTV's Making the Band 3. Singer Aubrey O'Day alleges Diddy underpaid members of the band and later offered her the publishing rights to her songs if she signed an NDA. And there was a catch to that.
And in order to get that, I have to release him for any claims or wrongdoings or actions.
no. Besides that, Diddy's roster is kind of top tier. No, not like that though. You feel me? The female. You feel me? But you say, I'm not justifying what the niggas doing. Like, you feel me? I'm not saying that. That's what I mean. Like, you feel me?
Prior to the date of the release,
Cassie, Jennifer Lopez, like that. Rod roster kind of crazy.
I have to sign an NDA that I will
I'm
never
not defending Diddy
disparage
at all. I respect.
Puff, Bad Boy, Janice Combs, or Justin Combs' music, or EMI, or Sony ever in public.
Just this month, Aubrey O'Day's Danity Kane bandmate Dawn Richard filed suit against Diddy. She alleged Diddy verbally and sexually abused her, all with the intentional infliction of emotional distress. There are so many layers to this story, dozens of allegations, civil suits, and criminal charges. And all this while Diddy sits behind bars in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. But let's begin with those federal charges. Here's former federal prosecutor Gene Rossi. So going off and talking about those 3 charges, initially to me, when I looked over the indictment, I was like, only 3? It's only 14 pages. That's kind of small, short. But according to you, it sounds like RICO could be a giant charge.
I was surprised when I read this indictment that it is so short. What that tells me is the prosecutors just wanted to get this indictment out there to move this case along. And, given the scope of this case, 14 pages is nothing. I predict that they're going to supersede, amend the indictment, and maybe not add more charges, but add more allegations under each charge, as they say, to add more meat to the bone.
Not gonna lie, I think this nigga's getting a death penalty, like death sentence. There's no way he's not getting the death penalty, like. But all the videos, like he's got, like, respectfully. This freaky ass tongue nigga, like, what, bro? Y'all niggas are wild. Bro, why do you get this image? Like, yeah, he's a freak.
And have what they call a speaking indictment. A speaking indictment is one that's very,
I'll be so surprised if anything gets out of this. I don't think he
very
does.
detailed. It's almost like reading a novel. And a speaking indictment can be over 100 pages. This one is sort of a bare bones general indictment that I predict the federal prosecutors are going to amend, supersede, and add more information.
So you said they'll likely add more allegations, more information to kind of beef up their argument, but we still only have these 3 charges. And I'm sure the federal prosecutors are bringing the ones that they can get a conviction on, right? The ones that have the most amount of evidence against Diddy. Do you think that's why they only brought 3 just to secure a conviction?
I think they only need 3, and here's why. The RICO charge is so expansive that if they only use that one count, RICO, that would be enough for me. So they don't need 20, 30 counts. If they have 3 or 4 core good counts, that's enough, because that RICO charge by itself is an extremely serious charge.
As far as a potential conviction, obviously down the line, and as you said, Diddy is presumed innocent, but if there is a conviction...
There's no way this thing is... They could convict Trump. These niggas are cooking this nigga. Respect. The niggas, all the juries are white, buddy. Like, respectfully. And I think they're females, my nigga. Like, there's no way he's getting out of this. It'll be a miracle. Like,
sort of sentence.
Y'all really think he's getting out of it? Like, that's he just said out of her mouth. Like, he's not getting out of this, respectfully.
And bars?
Under the sentencing guidelines, which are not binding on a court, he's looking at significant time. Probably my back of the envelope arithmetic calculation is at least 10 years. At least.
Criminal defense attorney Adam Conta agrees. The federal indictment is problematic for Diddy.
It lays out what they believe is a pattern of illegal activity, all in the names and the furtherance of the Combs enterprise. I think it lacks some details, but we have, because this is an ongoing investigation and because it's sort of been in the public sphere for a while, we have more details than we normally would. They've laid out a pattern of conspiracy and racketeering that they've charged him with. But part of that is obviously
Y'all
you know, one of
niggas
the
think that he's coming out? Like, be honest. Y'all niggas think he's gonna come out or no? What do y'all niggas think?
victims is his ex-girlfriend Cassie, who filed this major lawsuit last year in November against him. But we kind of have the details from that lawsuit as well, so we can kind of insert those as really the jump off point to how we got here now today. But he's got some real legal challenges ahead of him, absolutely.
You brought up a good point about the pattern, showing that Diddy had a pattern to break the law in this many ways. And
Right?
it all goes back kind
Like, I be saying, like, Diddy was a YN. What is he talking, bro? Like, this nigga's a YN. Like,
of to
you think Diddy cares, my nigga?
Cassie
That
and the
nigga's
civil
honest, like,
suit that she filed.
I
Obviously, they had a
think Diddy broke every law possible. Everything about
relationship for several years. She alleges some pretty serious accusations against him.
They got racketeering, they got
how
battery
important is
charges, they
Cassie
got
going to be
sexual
in
assault
regards to this
charges.
federal
Like,
case?
Well, she's going to be incredibly important in terms of her lawsuit is really what opened up the public's attention to it, and so that's really what got everyone going. That's what got the authorities looking into her more. I mean, it was only a year ago that he got the key to the
bro,
city
like,
here in New York, and now here he is indicted in the Southern District, right? So
he got the prostitution charge. Like,
what happened in a year for someone to have fallen
no,
so
no,
far?
no.
And not just got the keys to the city a year ago.
Yeah, he
He
gotta
was
be at least getting 50 years, 60 years in jail, my nigga. Like, there's no way he's getting out of this
what
one.
was he? He was given like the Lifetime Achievement Award in the VMAs. That was just last year too. I mean, this is someone who is at the top.
Kinda crazy, my nigga. These niggas both touch hands. Like, crazy, both these niggas are getting charges. Once you touch Diddy, like, you get charges now. What's the, bro? Isn't this Barrett getting charges? Like, I swear he's getting charges right now. Like, don't touch Diddy's hands at all. Like, you feel me? Like Devin ain't, bro. Everybody that touches
public
Diddy gets
sphere
bad luck.
in terms of reverence, in terms of respect, in terms of
Like,
what they mean to
Eric
the city and to the
Adams, like, you're
community.
cooked.
And for it to turn around this fast, I think we have to look directly at Cassie and her lawsuit filed on November 16th. And even though they settled
But he definitely went to a Diddy party. You feel me?
it a day later,
Look at his face.
again, the details of what was alleged got out there. And then what that really did, just like the Me Too movement, it started other people who are alleged victims of his thinking, well, maybe now is my time to come forward. If in fact that they were felt
Yeah, that's crazy. Why does everyone come later? Like, why didn't they just do this earlier? It's like a trend that everybody just starts dick riding, like, giving this, saying they got affected by this nigga. Like, they wait years later. Like, I'm just trying to think, why didn't they do that? You feel me? Like, especially when R. Kelly is getting in trouble, when he's starting getting charges, like, he was getting cooked. Like, why did they do it years later when the nigga's trending? Like, you feel me? For being a weirdo. I just don't
They
get
felt
that.
threatened.
Why did they not do that early in their career? Maybe because they're not gonna get publicity at all from the charge, and they won't believe it. But like, why did they wait though? I'm just trying to think.
by Diddy, if in fact they were coerced not to say anything through violent threats, through physical threats, through emotional
Or
threats.
they could have been paid too. But that's what I'm saying. Diddy's paying these niggas like not to talk. Like, you feel me? But now they're exposing themselves.
Potentially of
Man.
having whatever acts they committed with Diddy being recorded and even having those used against them as electronic threats. After Cassie's lawsuit, they started to come out, and then you saw another lawsuit in December, and then another one and another one. And so there were a couple that came out that really started steamrolling this sort of this change in a public opinion of him, just like happened with R. Kelly, although these are separate charges and they have not been proven like R. Kelly's. But just like
Crazy that R. Kelly's in a better situation right now, if you think about it.
in R. Kelly, it took the public a little while to kind of get around this notion of this
Nah, I'm saying free R. Kelly low key. Nah, well, but low key,
pop
R. Kelly didn't do that much bad things.
superstar who we've grown to love for decades, and now kind of
I think low key
peel
R. Kelly
back
could change, like real talk. Like even though he did the stuff,
the
like you feel
onion
me? Like
to his personal persona
if he did half of what Diddy did, like basically.
that could be quite disturbing. And so, even though she is not going to be, she might not be doing interviews and she might not be out there sort of as the public figurehead of this indictment, she's certainly at the genesis of it and is the reason this whole thing got rolling.
And what continued the ball rolling was Lil Rod's suit. For this, I'll turn to former prosecutor Melba Pearson. Obviously, every lawsuit is very important in this case, but Lil Rod's actually mentions hundreds of hours of video footage. He's talking about these illegal activities, making these pretty severe allegations.
But what's y'all bro? Why do y'all niggas love children though? Like R. Kelly, Diddy, maybe Drake. I don't know though. Like you feel me? Like, but I'm not gonna disrespect Drake, my nigga. Like Drake, my go. You feel me? I'm not gonna disrespect Drake though. You feel me? Like, but what's up with this year right now? Like, why does everybody getting exposed like for being a weirdo? Respectfully.
But says, hey, there's audio, video, photos.
But Drake's still better than
That was
Kendrick
a
though.
big reason why
I
the
don't
feds
care.
executed those search warrants back in March.
Absolutely, because they had to seize all of that evidence to be able to use it at trial later on down the line. So
Ricky
they
ass
now had
nigga is
specific things
69
they were
guy.
looking for. Because remember, a search warrant can't just be a fishing expedition. You have to be able to detail in the warrant what you're expecting to find or what you are seeking. And so with Lil
Niggas
Rod's
sending the whole military to search Diddy's house. Like, what the fuck?
lawsuit, the feds were able to be like, okay, we're looking for video. We're looking for surveillance video that may have been located in this particular room.
Y'all
We're
realize
looking
y'all
for-
searching the house, my nigga. Y'all don't gotta have right gear. Like, my nigga, this is not a Osama bin Laden. Like, what the It's like y'all niggas go to war. Try to look for Diddy. Like,
a particular
so the niggas gonna have booby traps in his house. Like, y'all gotta have armor plates. But I think the normal riot squad people would come in here. Like, my
frame when these incidences occurred. So what evidence can we find that substantiates what occurred during that time frame while we're looking through the house? So it all came together.
Well, they gotta be
to
prepared,
be able
though.
to give the feds the information they needed to be able to do these searches effectively, follow the trail of evidence, and then lead to the indictment.
You know, all roads kind of lead back to these civil suits because obviously now we have the criminal side of things, which you've talked about, and that's going to be something we'll follow closely. But the civil side is kind of what paved the way. And I'm wondering now that Diddy is in custody, what's going to happen to these civil suits? Are they stalled? What would that look like?
What generally happens is that the civil attorneys will sort of wait and see what happens in the criminal case, because so much of the evidence that comes out in the criminal case could be a treasure trove for the civil lawsuit. So, for instance, if Diddy were to get on the stand and testify, which I highly doubt he would.
That's dumb, dog. Like, if you're, what's it called? That's dumb. Like, as a defendant, you shouldn't be let talking, especially. You wonder why young things not talking. Like, you feel me? Like, it's better just the prosecutor just talk. You have the right to remain silent. Like you have the freedom. You literally have your Miranda right. You feel me?
If he were to get on the stand and testify, his testimony can be admissible in the civil lawsuit, especially if he gives conflicting statements. He can be what we called impeached, or basically, to use the colloquialism, basically called out like, hey, you said this on this date. Now at the criminal trial, now at the civil trial, you're saying something different, which is the truth, that sort of thing. So, I think that the civil law.
But I don't think Diddy should talk though.
lawsuits may be on pause, not to say that they're going to be dropped or anything along those lines, but the criminal case is what's going to take precedence right now. And then once that's disposed of meaning guilty plea or a trial, guilty, not guilty, whatever the case
You
may
think he's gonna say non guilty? Yeah, he needs like God or something like to save him. You feel me, my nigga?
be, mistrial, then
Bro, but I'm even though I don't like what Diddy did, like I'm still praying like he turns to the Lord at the end of the day. Like you feel me, like you can't hate someone
civil
at the end of the day. Like you gotta not to say it, you gotta or not to say it. Hate people. You feel me? You gotta love your enemies,
lawsuits will pick back
regardless. Like you feel me?
up again.
After his arrest, Diddy pleaded not guilty to federal charges. A statement from his legal team reads, quote, Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the Black community. He is an imperfect person, but is not criminal. To his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. That was a look at all 47 shocking allegations against disgraced rapper P. Diddy. To be sure you never miss an update in his case, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube page.
Nah, like I'm saying, like Diddy, like there's no coming back from that. But like what I'm saying is, what you're at to next, and yeah, come on.